Gaby Young, VP Marketing of Litico. Thank you for joining me on this banter.
Thank you, Billy, for having me. Great to be here. Looking forward.
Fellow Brit, can't go wrong. So we're going to talk about the delicious, and I really mean delicious, subject of customer marketing. But before we do, because I had a chat with my friend ChatGPT about marketing budgets, and can you guess what it told me, how much it told me to allocate to my 2025 marketing budget?
A big, fat, juicy zero, by any chance?
Well, let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look. Suggested budget allocation for a $500,000 budget. Yes, I said that I was CMO of a B2B tech organization. I didn't give it too much details, I admit, but obviously demand gen, content and SEO, marketing ops and CRM, website, events, brand, PR, agencies, thank you, a team training, miscellaneous. But where is customer marketing? You're right, a big fat zero. Now, I find this pretty weird because at the end of the day, we kind of like our customers and we kind of want them to stay around. What's going on? Why is nobody allocating budget, time, or energy into customer marketing?
So thanks for bringing up this really important point. But the thing is that customer marketing is a bit of a fluffy area. Most marketers it's an afterthought, or we're too busy bringing in new logos.
Give us the new deals. We want
it's the new deals, the new shiny deals. That's what makes us look good. We want these new logos on our website. This is our pipeline. All of that is totally legit and understandable. Yeah. Totally. But you could be sitting on a gold mine, right? And you probably are.
And I'm sure plenty of great marketers have thought this up, but it costs you X much more to recruit a new client as opposed to retaining and expanding a current client. It's counterintuitive. So we know that growing your customer base with current customers is cheaper and more cost effective. They're already in the bag, so to speak. Yet we don't dedicate enough budget or attention to it. It's like counterintuitive.
Okay. So it could be, first of all, the budget that you may need for customer marketing may be a bit less than what you would need for new logos, right? As you said, it's more cost effective because it's cheaper. So as a budget category in itself, there are quite a lot of things you can do that actually don't necessarily cost an arm and a leg, which is a benefit in itself, right? If there's no budget allocated to it, then there's probably no resource allocated to it either. So what ends up happening is if a few customers happen to see our random webinar we had once, they happen to see it, and that's great. But I'm asking you as marketers out there, have you ever seen your customer success team deliver a QBR? Have you seen what's in it? Once you see that,
do we want to see what's in it? That is
once you see that, it will explain a lot, and that's kind of how this thing started. The opportunity for that QBR is huge. You have these execs from enterprise companies, from enterprise banks, for example, in a room, and you're not going to try and show them your new flashy product. The last time they saw any kind of deck from your company may have been 5 years ago when they originally bought your product. They don't actually know your positioning, your real value. They just know what they're seeing on that screen in that moment, and then move on to the next meeting they have of the day. So that's an opportunity to really wow an executive with a company that you might be working on one small use case with an opportunity to really kind of tell a bigger story. And that, I believe, is a marketing function.
I think it's a wasted opportunity. I know that many companies do have an upsell and a cross-sell target.
Yeah.
Right? So how is that supposed to happen? Is it magic? Is it just a matter of the sales team every now and again meeting with the customer support and saying, okay, where do we have an upsell opportunity? And then that's it. Seriously, if budgets were allocated to it, and if even marketing had upsell and cross-sell, so like as part of all the PLG companies, that's how they make their money. So then it doesn't make sense that they're not marketing or they don't have assigned marketing to their budget. But talk to me about the change in event strategy to fit into the customer marketing.
Okay, so we're thinking here 2021. Okay, 2020, Litico actually did very, very well because our product is very well suited to remote business, doing business remotely with customers. 2021, all our prospects wanted to be back out there again at the conferences, and we actually sponsored 25 trade shows and conferences in 1 year. Okay. So we had a machine that worked very, very well to book meetings, right? So we weren't just like a lead scanning badge machine, always went one level up above that. And it was always how many booked meetings. I don't care how many people you speak to, how many badges you scan. If you don't book in a meeting, we're never going to speak to that person again. The target was how many booked meetings you would get for net new. But We actually got more ARR from like expansions and than from the trade shows themselves. And the trade shows, as you can imagine, were a huge investment budget.
Yeah.
And so there were a few things we learned from that. First of all, don't spread yourself too thin.
Yep.
And at the same time, probably ignoring some money that was under our noses, which was existing customers who had just bought our product for one specific COVID use case, which now probably had many more applications. And so in this past 24 months, we have had 2 booths at 2 conferences and had private dinners and private events at all the right event at all the right conferences in very specific industries, basically financial services, consumer finance to be precise. And that's our magic area. That's where we already have large clients. Right. We have large clients who can reference to other potential large logos. So if you imagine one of the largest UK banks having dinner with another one of the largest UK banks, one of them is a customer, one of them isn't. So amazing. That would be now our strategy. And the booth is actually more to remind our customers we still exist, to show them any new features and any new demos, and less of a lead farm. So we've really moved upstream, and the brand presence becomes a lot more important.
So your trade shows and your dinners and your face-to-faces are basically more for current customer nurturing, and for them to sort of like use the word of mouth to recommend to their other friends within the same industry.
Exactly. And so it's kind of ABX.
And so it makes so much sense.
It does. It is internal. It's also internal ABX. You've got to market to them as net new and then you can say, and by the way, you don't need to, all this red tape that you would normally have to do with a new vendor doesn't need to happen in this case because we're already working with you.
Very nice. So as a percentage of your marketing budget, how much would you say goes on customer marketing now?
So the reason we got to the customer marketing, because it was a very cost-effective way to bring in new ARR. Right. And some of it doesn't actually cost anything, and some of it you cost a little bit. So if I say that 20% of our budget is spent towards customer marketing, and some of it can be reused and repurposed towards net new, then that's the number I would give you. Nice. Yeah.
And with regards to how much of your time is spent on it, I mean, like these things take time.
It's exactly. So when you're thinking of budget, you need to think of resource, because you may need a dedicated resource to work with each of those enterprises to get deep into, because you need champions within those companies to shout for you. It involves cross company alignment as well, because you've got to get the AM on board, the customer success program manager needs to know what's going on, and then the actual communication with the internal. Now, there's a lot of enablement in there.
I was going to say that actually by doing customer marketing, you're tapping into a huge resource in voice of the customer, because a lot of times it's like, how do I get in front of a customer? But if you're a big part of your strategy is customer marketing, then by default, you're speaking to your customers. So by default, you're getting from them nuggets of information and delicious quotes without going out on a special mission to listen to the voice of the customer. You are with them, you're interacting with them, you're meeting them where they drink their water. What I'm interested in as well with regards to the shift to customer marketing, is that something that you were pushing for from your end, or was it something that was coming in from the C-level, CEO level? How was it born? Because it's not a given. It's really not.
It's 2 ways. So first of all, I was trying to do a case study, and I sat in on a QBR just to see how something was being presented. And from a marketer's perspective, I was like, hang on a minute, we're doing all this cool bells and whistles, fun stuff for the ones who are not yet our customers. What about our customers? So I basically created a new template for them. It happened to be that we were refreshing the brand anyway, so it was positioned as part of the rebrand that they would get new templates, but that gave me the artistic license to reformat the flow of what a business review meeting should look like. Okay. So I changed it, and then I trained the CS team, so positioning the product, the benefits.
It went from ground up, from you up, as opposed to from CEO down, saying this is now becoming a focus. It's like you took the reins instead of.
I took the reins because of what I saw. I was shocked. Yeah. So it could be different.
Actually, with a tactical thing, because you started with something that like a template, and then it went into more of a. It sounds like it went more into a strategy. So anyway.
So the other side was is that it was sales led. There was a sales led program going on with one of the banks that we work with, that they made a promise that they could achieve what would normally take them 10 years to do in-house, we would do for them in a year.
Wow, okay.
And we can, but it needs marketing support. Okay. So without marketing, they couldn't Lightico needs to happen because they need to basically start marketing Lightico internally now.
Right.
But then it's also educating people who have never heard of either of the technology about this solution that's going to help them achieve what would take them 10 years in 1 year.
Wow.
So then that becomes a whole campaign in itself. So that project became something like a blueprint. Okay, this is what we've been able to do here, and we're moving along very, very nicely with it. They have collateral, they have their own sales enablement material, they have an event coming up which is all about Lightico. They have an internal event about Lightico, right? Imagine that. Okay. And we've realized that we have like 5 other large banks we work with that we can replicate this in the other banks. So that's also where it came from. So one was a tactical play, and the other one is a bit more strategic, where if we could get a few more, if we could actually replicate this project in all these other banks, then that is tens of millions of ARR right there, without bringing in new logos. Of course, we constantly have demand gen, everything else is running, but this is an additional source of ARR for a very low cost, a little bit resource intensive, but it's repeatable, and it's starting to work really well. So even though it is the first year that we're running this kind of motion, it's proving to be something that can really change the way SaaS companies are thinking about how they get new revenue.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're not really talking about anything new. We're just talking about something that, in my opinion, a lot of startups and even post-round A, B, and C companies are just ignoring. You've got the Cisco's, you've got Checkpoints, you've got Microsoft, you've got the SAPs, Dell. You've even got companies like Pantera, which are not on their scale, and they are having massive 2 to 3 days getaways for their customers, right? They're running these programs, and they're running it because they know that customer marketing is really, really important. But I think that it doesn't matter your size. You should be doing customer marketing. It's part of the bread and butter. It's allocating budgets and allocating resources. You really are leaving money on the table if you're not addressing these folks.
And I think the magic happens when you mix the two, right? So when you mix the customers with the prospects, and you have, I've run a few events for customers and prospects together, that it's almost guaranteed that you'll get new logos from those events.
And when do you really think that customer marketing should be a serious line item?
Let's say you have established enterprise customers who you know are happy with the product, and they are now on a, let's say, 2-year contract, and then you know that you're proving value, and you know that everything on that side of they're happy. Then I think that's the point where you need to start building out your strategy. Because anytime before that, you don't want to start annoying your customers when they're still trying to fix something, or you have many other departments talking to them about products, right? So for some companies, they could still be in seed stage. For some, it might be B round. It's more to do with the maturity of the customer.
A lot of it also depends on who you've got on your team, because you generally can't have somebody junior doing the customer marketing. You've got probably somebody at your level, right? Minimum marketing director level. So it's marketing director, VP, CMO that has to be in charge of this program and to be interacting with the client.
I totally actually agree with you on that. So it's not a junior level. Also, even the first point of contact should be through a VP level, at least director to VP level. That should be the first point of contact. It can sometimes even come through CEO or CRO level, who has the right sponsorship level of contact, because it needs to, from the customer side, it also needs to be sponsored by their equal part. So my counterpart in my customer's company is probably the one I want to speak to, if not higher, right? So it's a really, really good point you brought up there, and I'm pleased you did.
You are very welcome, Gaby. That's what I'm here for. I am just here to bring up good points. That's my purpose. Okay, last point that we should cover is proving your goddamn ROI, because just like enterprise sales are a long sales cycle in order to get them to sign on the dotted line, getting to show that your hard work in customer marketing is moving the needle is also going to take a long time. It's not going to say that within a quarter you're going to suddenly see like a bunch of new users, or suddenly thousands of dollars increased spend from the client, right? So you're also going to set expectations there internally.
So the good news is, it's probably most teams don't even measure this type of post-sales customer marketing effort. They do measure expansions, right? So that's the bottom line. But then how do you attribute it to marketing, right? So the reason that there's an underinvestment in customer marketing is because it's not usually measured from a marketing perspective.
Sales team taking all the credit, isn't it? It's a sales team thing.
Always, and they're the kings. Every so often marketing gets a small mention. But usually it will be attributed to sales or the account manager and team. But things that help you understand if it's working. So, of course, expansion. So expansions to more use cases. Sometimes it's not always, it might be that you're trying just to get them to use. So sometimes it might be an expansion that involves higher ARR, and sometimes it might be an expansion to more use cases just so they're using all their credits. How many additional countries have been added? So in many cases, your company may be active in 10 different countries and they're only using it in let's say in the US, but they could be using it in Mexico, Brazil, UK, France, Spain. There's that, right? And in a large enterprise, each of those expansions could represent hundreds of thousands of dollars in ARR. The next thing is RFPs and RFIs. If you are already an approved vendor, then that you being top of mind for them will bring you closer to being considered for RFIs, RFPs, and then actually being chosen, right? Let's say you've just run a customer webinar. We didn't discuss those, but customer webinars, let's say on product roadmap, the immediate engagement with the CS team after that webinar can be a measure of success. So if during the webinar, you're showing them, this is our new AI product, and then they immediately inquire about that product and they want to know more, that was as a direct impact from that webinar. Client referrals. So customer bring customer. So all of those are different touch points to understand how the marketing that you're doing is impacting. In the end, the ultimate goal is to increase ARR and reduce churn. So just as it's typically quite complicated to try and measure the success of a rebrand or brand in itself, I actually think measuring customer marketing might be a bit easier than measuring brand.
So I think that obviously all those are correct. I've been privy to internal arguments about the contribution of various marketing activities to the pipeline, and sales getting snotty, would you believe it, about marketing not helping, blah, blah, blah. To which my favorite answer is, let's shut it down. Let's shut this down.
Right, yes.
Let's shut it down for a quarter and see what happens, shall we? They usually shut the F up. I mean, seriously, they like to complain that marketing isn't doing enough or it can't be measured. I'm like, okay, fine. We know what happened beforehand. We know what's happening now. Let's shut it down for 3 months and see what happens.
Well, that's why you need to position yourself as their partner and as their friend. We're not in war. Well, I'm not.
We're not.
I'm positioning myself as I'm here to help you make your job easier, right?
Oh no. That means that if you're not doing a good job, then if their job is hard, it's because of you.
No.
Oh God, we could get into a whole different banter about that one. No, okay, fine.
But in this specific customer marketing, I do not believe that in the whole area of marketing. But if this is something that is new to your customer success team, new to your company, they've never wanted you to go anywhere near their customers. Don't even speak to my customers. I'm never going to introduce you to my customers.
They don't belong to the company.
They're mine. So you need to soften the relationship. You need to actually say, I'm here to help you make your customer feel good about himself or herself. We're going to feature her in this awards. You have to start. I didn't talk about awards, but that's a good way in. That's a good way in.
I'm exaggerating slightly.
It's an ego stroke.
It is. Right. Okay. We are going to end this banter, even though I really could carry on talking to you for hours. Gaby, thank you so much. Customer marketing, a whole world, which I very much believe in. And I know it does wonders for companies that take it seriously. So thank you for sharing your pearls with us.
Thanks for having me on, and be in touch if you have any more questions or if you want to banter even more.
Oh, yes. Bye.
Bye.